Happy belated New Year, yeah. Hey there, beautiful. I'm Connor, and welcome to the video. I haven't made a video with me in it for a long time. I think the last video on my channel is the You Can't Get Away Stinky. I kind of explained why I don't actually make videos often. It has to do a lot with my living situations. I'm still living with my parents and my sister. They are the reason why it's difficult to get around to recording a lot of the times, because my sister especially, she is responsible for a lot of noise. So there have been times when I thought I could get around to making a video and there's just been too much noise. But it's 2020 now. Actually, right now it's January 4th, so it's 6 days away from my birthday. That's right, my birthday is January 10th. So there's Christmas, New Year's, and my birthday all within a very short span of time. I did get some money from family members, but that is going towards hopefully a new camera, because that is one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. Because when it comes to making videos, you need certain hardware or software, and as far as I'm concerned, I have my audio hardware. You know, I don't really need anything else. Audio-Technica AT2035, and my interface is a Mackie Big Knob Studio. I don't think I have talked about them before, maybe I've mentioned it a little bit, but my interface makes my whole audio setup possible. So audio is fine, and for screen recording for like gameplay videos, I usually use NVIDIA's Shadowplay, I think it's called, and I have actually a keyboard shortcut where I just like Control F12 and then it brings it up, and then I can hit record, and that works fine. And then video editing, I use DaVinci Resolve, which is beautiful. But for recording face, especially for these types of videos, my camera, it's a Nikon D5500. It's not the worst camera in the world, but it's definitely not the best, especially when it comes to video. It does 1080p 60, which is what I'm recording with right now, at I think 35 megabits a second for the bitrate, which is actually pretty good. I do still have the stock lens, the kit lens, so the video isn't sharp, but my main problem with the camera that I have, and this is a problem a lot of cameras have, and it's a recording time limit. I can see it right now, it's counting down, I only have like 3 minutes left. And for this type of video, a talking head video, vlog, whatever, it's not that big of an issue because I'm looking at the camera so I can see and really keep track of the time pretty easily. It's really when it comes to any type of video where I'm not focusing on the camera, like when I'm recording a gameplay or maybe doing something else that requires me to look at the computer. I have like been absent-minded and forgot to hit record again to start a new recording, and I've had like frames where there's just no face cam and then it suddenly pops up again. It's really just kind of a nuisance, and it makes recording that type of video especially just a little more inconvenient. You can see I just had to restart the recording because the time was about to run out. However, there is a camera that I've been looking at that would fix that problem, and it's the Panasonic G85. By the way, the reason why a lot of cameras in the DSLR or mirrorless range have a recording time limit is actually, it's not necessarily like a hardware issue, maybe like years ago, but nowadays it's actually because cameras are subject to being taxed if they can record longer than 30 minutes. I don't know, someone in the EU, somewhere in Europe decided to do that, so cameras either don't record longer than 30 minutes or they get taxed and they're more expensive. Them freaking Europeans. First they tax the tea, and then they tax the cameras. But there is a fix to this. There are different like recording formats for if you're in like America or in other countries like European countries, and it's PAL, P-A-L, is the European standard, and it's the recording standard format for a lot of other countries, but NTSC is the standard for America and some other countries. And that's important to note because the Panasonic G85 specifically, it's only an NTSC camera. It doesn't do PAL. So it's American in its design, so it's not subject to that tax. So the camera, the G85, it can record until the SD card is full, which is amazing. Because if you have like a 128 gigabyte card or a 256 gig card, I think would work with that camera, you can record until the card is full. Now the battery might die before that if it's not fully charged, but it's just a major convenience thing that would just be wonderful. It's also not really that expensive. The GH5, by the way, and I think the GH4 before that, I think they also can record longer, but I think they do get the EU tax or something. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know as much about those cameras. So because it can record indefinitely as long as there's information in the card, it's not full, that would be a huge time saver, and it would just make recording gameplay especially much easier. Also, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it just produces better video quality in general. I think the 1080p 60 option is 28 megabit bitrate. I'm not entirely sure, but now this is just a guess, but I think the actual video and the kit lens that comes with the camera would be sharper, so maybe I would get sharper video, which would be nice, but honestly, the convenience of just having no recording time limit is very much worth it, in my opinion. Also, one thing that camera can do is it can record 4K. Not 4K 60, it only does 4K 30. Even then, for, you know, this type of video, 4K 30, fine. If I'm recording gameplay where my face is just like in a box in the corner, 1080p 60 is more than enough. The camera, honestly, I feel like is the weak link. Not necessarily because it's bad, it's just the limit for the type of video that I do specifically, it's just a pain in the ass. I will say though, I can get pretty good looking video out of this camera. I have a custom picture profile on this camera that's flat, because the standard picture profile in the camera, it's disgusting looking. If you're shooting raw photography, doesn't matter. But if you're doing video, it does matter because the profile gets baked into the file and it's not usable. In my opinion, the standard profile is horrible. Also, because I use DaVinci Resolve, because it's, you know, industry standard for color grading, I get pretty good looking video out of this. At least what I think is pretty good looking colors and light. Part of the reason why I can get good looking image out of this is the lighting, actually. I have a nice big umbrella light right here, so it's a nice soft source. And I have a blue light right here. It's actually blue, so you can see it does create color contrast. You know, it's juxtaposed to the rest of the scene, which is more of a yellow tone. And then I have the Minecraft foam sword, which again is in the blue range, so that does create contrast, and I think the background is interesting looking. I also have a light right there shining on the background, creating shadows, which adds some visual intrigue, and all of that combined with the color grading in post, I think does create a pretty good looking shot. And then if I did get a new camera, I would have to go through and recreate my color grade, because obviously a different camera is going to create a different look right out of the camera. I might actually make a video going through and doing that if and when I get a new camera. DaVinci Resolve is a very powerful program with what it can do. It has a bit of a learning curve though, and it can be a bit intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. But once you understand some basics of what to do, you can do some pretty amazing things with it. Even the free version, which is what I use, it's by no stretch of the imagination inadequate. And as far as other videos, I do have a folder on my computer with some video games, horror ones especially, that I do want to record, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. I hopefully will throughout the year. Hopefully it doesn't take me a huge amount of time to be able to do that. If I do get that camera that I want to get, it's going to be less of a headache to record because, again, I don't have to worry about the camera stopping the recording. I also have a text file with some just ideas for videos more like this, where I'm just talking about something to the camera, topics I'm interested in, things I just want to talk about. I think that could be interesting. I don't know when though. I don't really have a schedule, anything like that, so I'm just gonna have to hopefully not have to deal with my family. Okay, well, I still suck at closing out videos. I'm not good at doing that, but I've said everything I wanted to say, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time you see me. Bye!